Summary question. We know how to answer a summary question. Read the summary, note down the important points on your fingertips or mentally, and then look at an option which has those important points as enumerated by you as far as possible in the correct order. The wrong option will be one which is out of scope, which mentions something that hasn't been mentioned in the passage, or which misrepresents the information given in the passage, or which doesn't mention a core point which is essential to summarize the passage. Okay, like the subject or whose view, or if the passage talks about positives and negatives, if the summary mentions only positives, these summaries are partially correct, or some misrepresent the fact, some give something out of scope. Those are all wrong answers or options. All right, okay. Those of us in the contemporary academy who are not liberals ought to give an account of why not. People in academics, contemporary academics, who are not liberals should tell why they are not liberals. This asymmetric burden falls on us. Okay, you have to prove why you don't believe in something. I believe. Why do you have to prove that you are not a liberal? Or why do you have to say why you are not a liberal? Why do you have to give an explanation why you are not a liberal? If you are an academic, if you're an academic and not a liberal, why do you have to give an explanation? The author says, because the presumption is so strong that one does fit within the broad confines of liberalism, that if one does not explicitly identify and explain why one has done so, then the following things may occur. So it is presumed that academics belong to the liberal stream. Okay, so if you don't believe in it and don't explain why you don't believe in liberalism, then he says the following things may occur. Okay, now only one sentence is there. We'll find out if that captures what he wants to say. People may reasonably presume on statistical grounds that your politics are such and engage with you with this in mind. People will draw a conclusion about you, will jump to a conclusion about you. They will presume on statistical grounds that your politics are such and such. If you don't explain, you're not a liberal, and you don't explain why you're not a liberal, then people will presume things about you, and keeping their judgment about you in their mind, they will talk to you. That's what he says. All right, we will see which one gets these points, which one captures these points perfectly in a summary. Contemporary academicians are obliged to explain why they are not liberals. Yes, that is correct, they are obliged, but he doesn't tell you why they are obliged to explain. So this is only mentioning a part of the passage, not the whole. Correct? Since people assume modern day academicians to be liberals, academicians who are not liberal are required to explain why they are not. This gives you why. Because people presume, people think that if you're an academician, people think you're also a liberal. So if you're not, you have to be careful to tell them, look, I'm not, and tell them why you're not. Clear? So B is a good summary. Let's look at C. Since academicians fall within the confines of liberalism in the minds of people, they are often required to engage in political arguments on this subject. What has he done in this option? What has the question setter done? He has just used a lot of words in the passage and made his own sentence, which is not in any way says what the passage says, right? So C is not correct. People engage academicians with political arguments since they assume academics to be liberals. Do they do that? Is that what the author says? No. He says you have to explain you're not a liberal. If you're not a liberal, you're an academician and you're not a liberal, you need to explain that. Otherwise, people make certain judgments and opinions they carry about you when they engage with you. That's not what D is saying. Therefore, my correct answer is B.